Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we bring you the latest news and in-depth analysis from around the world. I'm your host, Barbara, and I'm excited to share today's top stories with you. We're starting off with a significant development in Venezuela, where opposition leader Corina Machado has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. This recognition comes at a time of great turmoil in the country, which has been sliding towards authoritarianism under the regime of Nicolás Maduro. The Nobel Committee's decision is seen as a symbolic act that could galvanize international attention and embolden domestic opposition. Machado, who remains the face of Venezuela's divided opposition, has been a vocal critic of Maduro's government and has called for boycotts of upcoming elections. Her faction disputes the results of the 2024 vote, which was widely criticized as being rigged in favor of the ruling party. The Nobel Peace Prize is a significant recognition of her efforts to promote democracy and human rights in Venezuela. The situation in Venezuela is complex, with a humanitarian crisis that has displaced millions and a political system that has been gradually hollowed out under Maduro's rule. The international community has been trying to find ways to pressure the government into reform, but so far, sanctions and diplomatic rebukes have had limited success. It's worth noting that the Nobel Peace Prize is not just a recognition of Machado's efforts, but also a call to action for the international community to pay attention to the situation in Venezuela. As one expert noted, Venezuela is not an Eastern European country where external pressure might lead to democratic reform. Instead, the regime has become increasingly entrenched and ruthless. The awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize to Machado has also sparked reactions from other world leaders, including U.S. President Donald Trump, who has been a vocal critic of Maduro's government. Trump has been trying to isolate Venezuela diplomatically and economically, but his efforts have been met with resistance from other countries in the region. As we continue to follow this story, it's essential to consider multiple perspectives and avoid taking sides. The situation in Venezuela is nuanced, and there are no easy solutions. We'll be keeping a close eye on developments and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. I'm your host, Barbara. We're glad you're joining us again for this segment of our show. Today, we're focusing on a significant development in international relations as North Korea celebrates the 80th anniversary of its ruling Workers' Party. The occasion has been marked with a grand military parade in Pyongyang, showcasing the country's latest advancements in weaponry and technology. According to reports from North Korean state media, the parade featured a new, yet-to-be-tested, intercontinental ballistic missile called the Hwasong-20. This missile is described as the country's most powerful nuclear strategic weapon system. The introduction of this new missile has significant implications for regional and global security, given its potential to target areas beyond the Asian continent. It's also worth noting that the parade was attended by high-level officials from China, Russia, and Vietnam, indicating North Korea's efforts to strengthen its diplomatic ties with these nations. The presence of Chinese Premier Li Qiang, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, and Vietnamese Communist Party General Secretary Tu Lam underscores the complex dynamics at play in international relations today. In his speech during the parade, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un emphasized the need for his military to continue growing into an invincible entity that destroys all threats. While he did not directly mention the United States or South Korea, the message is clear: North Korea is committed to advancing its military capabilities and securing its position on the global stage. The international community will be watching closely as North Korea continues to develop its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. The United Nations and various countries have imposed sanctions on North Korea in response to its weapons tests, but the country remains defiant, arguing that these developments are necessary for its self-defense. As we consider this story, it's essential to approach it with a nuanced perspective, recognizing the historical, political, and economic factors that shape North Korea's actions. The situation is complex, involving not just North Korea but also its neighbors, global powers, and international organizations. We'll continue to monitor developments in this region and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, it's clear that North Korea's military parade and the introduction of the Hwasong-20 missile have significant implications for regional stability and global security. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Barbara's Bulletin. Good afternoon and welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I want to bring your attention to a developing story that's unfolding in Sudan. Reports are emerging of a devastating drone strike on a displacement shelter in the besieged city of El Fasher, which has left at least 60 people dead. According to various sources, including local activist groups and international news agencies, the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group is responsible for the attack. The RSF has been fighting the Sudanese armed forces in a civil war since April 2023, and its militants have put El Fasher under siege for over 500 days. The situation on the ground is dire, with families struggling to survive amidst widespread hunger, disease, and violence. The UN has described the Sudan war as one of the worst humanitarian crises of the 21st century, with over 150,000 people killed and more than 14 million displaced. As we report on this story, it's essential to acknowledge the complexity of the conflict and the various factors at play. The international community has a role to play in helping to bring about a resolution to the crisis, and it's crucial that we approach this issue with empathy and understanding. The Resistance Committee for El Fasher has called on the international community to intervene, describing the attack as a massacre. The BBC reports that hundreds of thousands of people have been forced to flee their homes due to the ongoing conflict, while Reuters notes that residents in El Fasher are digging bunkers into their homes and neighborhoods for protection. As we strive to provide you with accurate and balanced information, it's essential to recognize that this is a rapidly evolving story. We will continue to monitor developments and bring you updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, our thoughts are with the people of Sudan, who are suffering through one of the most challenging humanitarian crises in recent history. It's a sobering reminder of the importance of international cooperation and diplomacy in preventing such conflicts from escalating. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.